Hello, this is Dean Radin, and I'm on Your Superior Self.
Hi, I'm Anita Murjani, and this is Your Superior Self.
Hello, this is Dr. Raymond Moody, and this is Your Superior Self.
Hi, Cultural Creatives. I'm Bruce Lipton, and I'm here to join you with Your Superior Self.
This is Paul Selig, and this is Your Superior Self.
What's up, everybody? I'm Aubrey Marcus, and this is Your Superior Self.
Hi, I'm Susan Shumsky, and I'm on Superior Self. Glad to see you all out there.
Susan, Dr. Susan, thank you for taking the time.
Yeah, well, thank you for inviting me, Trey.
So you have like this, I mean, I can't even fit this resume of yours in the intro. New Thought Minister, Doctor of Divinity. I love that. Doctor of Divinity. Talk about your path, right? Like, where did it start for you? Like, have you always been fascinated with spirituality? Was there something in your life that kind of gravitated you towards that more? I mean, how did it start for you?
Well, you know, it was the mid 20th century, and I was a flower child. I was a hippie. I was living in the San Francisco Bay Area. And people probably don't realize it wasn't just all about sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Those of us who were flower children, we were seeking world peace. We were seeking altered states of consciousness. We wanted to raise our consciousness. Our gurus at that time were Timothy Leary and Richard Alpert, and he later became Ram Dass. And they had written a book called The Psychedelic Experience. And so they were telling us to turn on, tune in, and drop out and make love, not war. So we did all of that, you know, we did a lot of that. So I tried to get to higher states of consciousness through LSD because they told us that that would work. That didn't work out so well. So I was reading the Buddhist scriptures. I was reading Autobiography of a Yogi by Paramahansa Yogananda. I was reading The Way of Zen and other works by Alan Watts. And in Alan Watts' books, he said that you have to find a meditation guide. Well, in the mid 20th century in Berkeley, California, you didn't exactly go to the yellow pages and look up meditation guide or anything remotely similar to that. So I asked a friend, well, how do I find a meditation guide? He said, have you ever tried to meditate on your own? And I said, okay, I'll give it a shot, you know. So I lay down on my bed. That's how clueless I was, Trey. I didn't even know you're supposed to sit up when you meditate. I lay on the bed and I sort of prayed for or asked for a meditation. And immediately I was propelled into this ecstatic state. I could feel this rush or cord of energy rushing from the tips of my toes all the way to the top of my head. And I felt like I was plugged into a cosmic electric socket, but in a most ecstatic way. And I figured, well, I guess this is meditation. I didn't know anything about it. Little did I know that I not only had my first meditation experience, but also Kundalini awakening all at the same time without any drugs or anything. So it wasn't too long after that a friend took me to the Transcendental Meditation Center in Berkeley. And I found out about Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, who later became the guru of the Beatles. And I went to India and studied with him. And in fact, I ended up staying in his various ashrams for 2 decades. And I was on his personal staff for 6 years. Wow. So that was the start of my story.
Wow, what a start. Oh. So your meditation, I mean, man, I couldn't even imagine, like, you know, my first meditation being shot, like, I don't know if you were shot out of your body, but having that Kundalini experience, like, out of the gate. Like, people try for I don't know, years probably before they even reach that type of, you know, experience. And for you to do that on the first go round, that's pretty impressive. What did it feel like, though? Like, what did that feel like? Isn't it like an energy rushing up your spinal cord?
It was a rush of energy that went through my entire body. Not just up my spinal cord. It went from the tips of my toes all the way up to the top of my head. And it flowed. It was like, it felt like I was in a river, like I was in a current. I was in the current. and the current was flowing, it was just flowing. And I was a part of it. So
Hmm.
it was pretty ecstatic.
So when you went to India and you were in the ashrams, like
Yeah.
how did they have you, like, did they just have you working on meditation? Did they have you, I mean, you are on staff, but like, what was like, when you go to India, like when you
Mhm.
first get there, what is your mission? Like, what is it that you're trying to achieve?
Well, I went there to take the teacher training course with Maharishi Mahesh Yogi. He was teaching us to become transcendental meditation teachers. So I
Mhm.
went there for that purpose, and we spent a lot of time meditating in our rooms and having deep experience of that. And then I ended up staying after the course for another 3 months, just hanging out with him and only a handful of people, me and like 8 other people were in the ashram. So we got to hang out with him, and it was very blissful and ecstatic experience to be around him. He was quite an extraordinary person. There was a reason why the Beatles, were attracted to him. He was a really exceptional person.
Could you at that point have like out of body experiences and things like that? Like explore the
I
universe in
wouldn't
that
call
way?
it I wouldn't call it out of body experiences. I would call it in body experiences of the divine presence within.
Mhm.
The divine presence is within. It's everywhere present. It's within everything and everyone. So you don't have to leave your body or anything to experience that. It's
Mhm.
within you. It's in a subtle area of your own being. We have this gross physical body, but then we also have a subtle body, and we have subtle experiences through our subtle body. And the subtle body has 5 sheaths. Actually, there's the physical body and then 4 other sheaths. So we have the pranamaya kosha, which is your vital energy body, and then we have the manomaya kosha, which is your mental body, and the intellect ego body, which is called the jnanamaya kosha, and then we have the anandamaya kosha, which is your causal body. So these are all parts of your inner self, your subtle body. And then beyond that is your higher self. Your higher self, they call that Atman.
Mhm.
So these are all different aspects of your being. So when you are in deep meditation, you're experiencing the Atman, you're experiencing your higher self, actually.
Well, how do you like in transcendental, you're giving a mantra, right? And you use that mantra to kind of has no meaning whatsoever to like silence the mind. And you start experiencing like a dark vastness, like a falling sensation almost, right? Like I've felt that like a kind of like a falling back. But I don't know if it's fear or what, but it's like I can't get past that. Like I can't like I feel the falling sensation or something. And then it's like I don't get
And you
past
stop.
that. Yeah.
You don't want to continue.
I mean, I want to so bad. Like I want to like, I'm not confused or nothing, but well, maybe I am confused, but it's like, no one, everybody, all my audience knows that I'm a big fan of Robert Monroe and his out of body experiences.
Oh,
And,
okay.
but I am listening to a lot of other people too, like Thomas Campbell, who is a great philosopher, and his book, My Big Toe, Theory of Everything has really helped me. And then, Bruce Moen, he was a student of Robert Monroe, but it was like they had out of body experiences, but they were also using their imagination to experience consciousness and to gain knowledge through the universe. And
Mhm.
it's like, when I say out of body, like, is it out of body, or is it in body? Like, is it really inside of you? Like,
Mhm.
the great Oracle of Delphi was like, know thyself. That's it. Right. Like, I mean, everyone that I talk to who's a great philosopher or a great thinker says, know yourself, go inward. But it's
Mhm.
like when I try to go inward, like when I silence the mind, I'm either sitting in blackness and just kind of having that awareness, or my imagination kicks in, and then I'm somewhere else. And I don't know what's right. I don't know if there is a right, does that make sense?
Yes, makes a lot of sense. And first of all, meditation, there's a lot of misconceptions about meditation. People think that it's hard. People think that you have to focus and concentrate, that you have to blank your mind, that you have to be without thoughts. All of these things are misconceptions about meditation. Meditation, first of all, is comfortable, it's easy, it's restful. and it should be blissful. It takes you into a state of deep relaxation, deep relaxation, inner peace, and unbounded awareness, limitlessness, an experience that you are one with God, or you're one with your true nature, you're one with the universe. Some of these kinds of experiences are part of a real meditation. And okay, so, and you said that you feel like you're like falling. Okay, so that falling feeling is falling into a deep state of relaxation and peace. If you just allow yourself to, you could just sort of think it like an elevator, and you're just going down the elevator and getting, the door opens at the bottom of the elevator, and there's the divine light. It's filled, then you're filled with light. So next time you feel that, just allow yourself to imagine you're going down the elevator, and then open the door at the bottom and see what happens.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. You also have, you are the founder of Divine Revelation, a field-proven technology for contacting the divine presence. Is that through meditation too?
Yes, it is through meditation. And I teach through my books. Basically, I teach people how to meditate. The book we're talking about tonight, Prosperity Meditations, is filled with guided meditations, affirmations, prayers, and mantras to help you to live an abundant life. It's filled with very practical methods to help you do that. And many of those methods are guided meditations. Now, guided meditations are the easiest possible type of meditation that anyone could do, because it requires no skill, no practice. It requires, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to concentrate. You don't have to still your mind. You don't have to blank out thoughts. All you have to do is follow the instructions, and they're right there in the book. So what I suggest with the guided meditations that are in the book is that you record those meditations onto a device, and then you sit really comfortably in a chair and close your eyes and turn on the recorder and play it, and then close your eyes and just let your own voice guide you into the deep meditative state. So that's how I would use the guided meditations that are in the book, although you can just read them, and that will also take you into a state of relaxation, just reading them.
Yes. I like this book a lot.
Thank you.
Do you have experience with like using these affirmations, using these meditations, and like manifesting things for yourself, whether it be money or abundance or different reality?
Yes, I mean, I use affirmations and prayers and meditation a lot in my life in very practical ways. I do it in a most practical, mundane fashion to manifest my goals, and to allow me to become successful in different ways in my life. So this is really about practicality more than anything. All my books are very practical. They're all how to, spiritual self-help books to help people to have a better life. Really.
Sure. No, I love it. And I love that you have Hampton Roads as your publisher. I really like their stuff. Give me an example of something that you manifested for yourself. I mean, that has been like that. You were like, oh, this is proof in the pudding.
There's so many things. I can't even begin to, but for example, I started, I guess the first tour that I did was in 2001 to the Kumbh Mela in India. So I just had this feeling. I had the intuition. I was guided. I was led by spirit, because that's how I live my life. I'm led by spirit. So I had this feeling that it would be a good idea for me to take a tour group to India, to the Kumbh Mela, which is this giant festival in India. I didn't know anybody in India. I didn't know how the heck I was going to do it, but I just had the feeling I needed to do that. So I somehow on the internet, I found this person who was a tour guide, and I asked him if he could help me. And somehow Spirit led me to that tour guide, because after I got to know him, I found out that he was doing tours for some person that I already knew, an astrologer that I happened to know, was taking people on tours to India and using him as a tour guide. And it was just random that I ended up with him, and he arranged the whole thing. And I brought 30 people to India. And that started a whole tour, part of my life, doing tours and manifesting great prosperity through that. Then I started doing tours to Peru. I did tours to Egypt, to Assisi, to Bali, just different places. And also I was doing retreats, spiritual retreats in places in Mount Shasta and in Sedona and other spiritual places in the United States. And then I ended up doing holistic seminars at sea. Then all of a sudden I was creating these huge conferences at sea where we would have 300 people going on a cruise ship, and we would have a whole bevy of lecturers and speakers and just a whole celebration at sea. So, that's one example. Another example is getting my very first book published by Simon & Schuster by listening to the still small voice within and following its guidance. Even though I got nothing but rejections, it ended up this incredible, miraculous way that this book got published by the biggest publisher in the world as a first-time unknown author who knows nothing about writing. I studied art in school. I went to art school. And I've won 42 book awards, by the way.
Oh, yeah. 42 book awards.
I have 20 books in print and 36 foreign editions. And I certainly was never intended to be a writer. When I was young, I was going to be an artist. I'm an artist.
Sure. You tapped into that right side of that brain, huh?
I guess so.
So I want to know, how did you know to trust that voice, right? Like, how did you know that spirit was guiding you? It comes from
experience. When you have miracles happening in your life, I'll tell you something that happened 2 days ago. It's so mundane, but I just think it's really cool. It's so miraculous. So 2 days ago, I knew that I had to do 2 Zoom interviews that day. And I live in an RV and I have no home base. I'm in my RV right now. This is my RV. So I was parked at a Walmart. I was at a Walmart near Lancaster, Pennsylvania. And I thought I was going to do the Zoom interviews there. But then when I woke up that morning, my computer had crashed and I couldn't get it to start again. And I was really scared because my Zoom interview was coming up. And it took me hours to get the thing going again. And then once I got it going, I realized that the internet access was horrible there. There's no way I could have done the Zoom interview there. So I called up the guy, and it turned out he had completely forgotten about the Zoom interview, first of all. He totally forgot. And I said, oh, can we reschedule it for 7 o'clock tonight? I'm going to figure out where I'm going to get internet access. And he said, yeah, that's fine. So I rescheduled it, and I had 2 interviews, so I knew I had to do another one also. So then I went into meditation and I asked Spirit what to do. And Spirit said very plainly, very loudly, it said to me, go to the Tractor Supply Company in Chester Springs, Pennsylvania, and you'll know why you went there when you get there. So I start the vehicle, I drive over to, I get all this other stuff done that I knew I needed to get done. I got my propane, filled up my water, everything was fine. I drove to Chester Springs. I got to the parking lot, I parked. And as soon as I turned on my hotspot that I used to connect to the internet, I had the fastest internet connection I've ever had in any place that I've been in the last 6 months, or I should say 2 years, actually. I couldn't believe it. So I was able to do the Zoom interviews. It all went great. And also I had a great Thai food dinner there because they had a fantastic restaurant there. So it all worked out pretty well. And I mean, I know that's really totally mundane, but that's the kind of thing that happens to me all the time.
Sure. Where are you at now? Where are you calling from now?
I'm calling from Norristown, Pennsylvania now, and this has also a good internet connection. Not quite as fast as the one in Chester Springs, but it's good enough.
Sure. So I mean, so do you typically stay in Pennsylvania for your time, or do you go somewhere else?
No, I travel all over the place. I happen to be in Pennsylvania at the moment.
Yeah. So where are you headed now? Like do you meditate on that? Like I feel like I'm
going to be
west.
going to I always meditate on everything I'm going to do. Yes. But I'll be at the Conscious Life Expo in Los Angeles for anyone who is going to be there. That will be February 7th, I believe, something like that, around that time, 7th, 8th. I'll be at the Conscious Life Expo. Maybe it starts at the 6th. Oh, okay. It probably starts like 5th or 6th.
Sure.
Anyway, I'll be there. ConsciousLifeExpo.com. If you want to come and see me there, I'll be teaching some workshops and doing a lot of other special things like leading meditations. And they have a whole lot of stuff that they have me do there.
Oh, I got to check that out. So I mean, for the majority of your life, you've just been wandering, not wandering, but kind of like just free flowing, like following that intuition, that spiritual compass.
Yeah, I follow my inner guides. I do my best. It's very challenging to do that, by the way. It's not.
Well, doubt
really,
creeps
really,
in, right? Like you're
really
like, what are
challenging.
it's like, Susan, what are you doing? Like, why are you going up? Why are you in Pennsylvania? Like, why am I doing the analytical mind comes in and it's like, why are you doing that? Like, it's not right. And then you just kind of see things unfold and you see little, like you said, little miracles that happen.
Little everyday miracles.
What is it? Was it Einstein that said everything's a miracle or nothing is, or something like that? I'm paraphrasing, obviously.
I don't know that one.
Yeah, it's like you have to look at everything as everything's a miracle or nothing's a miracle. And I'm sure somebody will correct me on that, but I think that's such a fun way to live life. Like it's like scary. Like, where do I want to go? I meditate.
Yeah, it's not always fun. It's,
Yeah.
it's
I mean,
very challenging,
go take
frankly, because
take
I'm
a
often
tour.
guided to do things that are very difficult to do.
Sure. Let's take a tour in India. Let's go to wherever. Find out what happens over here. But it works. It seems it works out for you, so that's good.
It's working out. Yeah, it works. Yeah.
Have you ever been to a place, like a very sacred place, location in the world, and just had
Absolutely.
like in a totally like amazing experience?
I would say Vaishno Devi Cave in Jammu,
Yeah.
India
What happened there?
would be one of those places. It's just, you go into this cave and it just is filled with this spiritual energy that's so powerful. Also, by the way, the Kumbh Mela that I touched on before, that gathering of, there's thousands of saints that are gathered, and holy people that are gathered, and they're all in their little tents, and you can go and visit them and hang out with them. And it's really powerful too.
I gotta look that up. So these manifestations in your book, Prosperity Meditations, is this from life experience? Like, is this from, like, you have like chapter 8, I just flipped it over, as like prosperous home and automobile, your ideal home and pictures. So visualization, like, is there a certain amount of visualization that people have to do? Do they have to feel it? Do they have to just see it? Like, what's the secret here to manifesting things in the reality?
I think the biggest secret thing to manifesting things is to make a decision to manifest it. That's the biggest,
Step one.
the biggest secret I can give people is to make up your mind definitively and unfalteringly, and to doggedly pursue it and make it happen.
Make it happen.
It sounds, very mundane, but really that's how things happen. Most things happen in life. If you want to manifest things materially, that is, that the best way to do that is to make a final and firm decision on manifesting that thing, and then make it happen. But, there's something about that. And that's the reason I don't like this idea of The Secret, simply because there's this thing of, okay, make your laundry list and then make these things happen. Because first, before you make your laundry list, you really need to find out what is highest and best wisdom for you to manifest. In other words, to check in with your higher self and ask whether, what is the best course of action for me to take, and then make your laundry list. Then your laundry list will be based upon that which is for the best, for highest good, highest wisdom for you to manifest in your life. Because after you've created the house on the hill and the Mercedes Benz and the all the different things that you created, and then maybe you realize you didn't want any of that. So so find out first, what is your heart's desire. Your heart's desire is tied up with your mission and your purpose. So figure out what your heart's desire is and then manifest that.
Has it always been easy for you to kind of, I wouldn't say easy, but like you said, it's a little difficult for you, but like when in your life has it been a situation where like you were following your intuition and like everything in your being was telling, like, I don't say maybe not your being, but maybe your analytical mind was telling you, it was totally against it, like pushing you away, like, you know what I mean? Like,
well, that was really the case with the getting this book published.
Yeah,
and writing it and getting it published. It was
telling you no.
Oh yeah, everything was telling me no. And my agent said he wasn't going to represent me. And Spirit kept saying, oh no, he's your agent. He's still your agent. Don't sign with another agent and don't try to sell the book yourself. And that happened to me 3 different times when he kept telling me he wasn't going to represent me. After he first told me he was going to represent me, and then he said he wasn't. And then I kept after it over and over and over again, because Spirit told me, no, he's your agent. He's still your agent.
Mm-hmm.
So I did. And then he got the book published by Simon & Schuster. And now I have several books published by Simon & Schuster. Actually, I've got my memoir, I've got this book, and I've got my new books coming out in May, that actually Simon & Schuster is distributing that one too.
When you hear Spirit,
actually it's coming out in June, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
July.
When sometime it's coming.
It's coming out. It's coming out.
When you hear Spirit, like, is it your thoughts, or is it like a different voice, or is it like a feeling?
Okay, so there's 3 basic ways that we receive messages from Spirit. And one is visually, where you see a picture in your mind's eye, a vision. Another way is auditorily, that means sound. So that would be a thought, like any thought that goes through your mind is an auditory experience. If you're thinking in words, if you're hearing words, okay, that's auditory. And then the third way is kinesthetic, where you just get a gut feeling about things. You just feel it. So I get all of them. I get visual, I get auditory, I get kinesthetic. So often I will get messages where Spirit just speaks to me. And like I was describing to you, Spirit said, when you get to Chester Springs, to the Tractor Supply Company, you'll know why you got there.
It's crazy. Like, you heard this Tractor Supply, head on down.
Yeah.
We get some 5G Wi-Fi.
Well, it wasn't that I didn't know about the Tractor Supply Company. I mean, it was one of the places that sometimes I go to fill up with, something.
Sure. So it's just like
propane or water.
Like head down.
But Spirit said this. No, Spirit said specifically, go to the Tractor Supply in Chester Springs, and when you get there, you'll know why you went there.
That's amazing. Did you have to build that up? Like, did you always have that? Like that?
Oh no, I didn't have that at all. I had to learn everything. I started from nothing. I didn't have any intuitive abilities or anything when I was young. People say, oh, I've been a psychic all my life. Oh, I was a psychic in past lives. I've been a psychic for centuries. That's not me.
I am building my intuition. Like, so I have been, it's it's funny. I know when I'm tapped in and when I'm not. So
Mhm.
like I've been practicing with playing cards, right? Like I'll put a
Oh, okay.
I'll put a playing card, on my desk, and I'll go to sleep and I'll practice my meditation, and I'll try to remote view.
Yeah.
And the first night I got it. Not well, I shouldn't say I got it. I got the card number and the color. I didn't get the suit, right?
Okay.
I was like, holy crap, that's awesome. I was like, wow,
Yeah,
that's
it is.
really
That's pretty
cool.
amazing.
And then I was doing a remote viewing exercise where somebody was like, all right, I'm going to draw something. And a horse came to me immediately. And I was like, all right. He showed the drawing and it didn't look like a horse. It was like 4 straight lines, but because it had, I guess the legs or whatever seemed to be a horse to me. And then he started drawing little circles and I'm like, all right, well, that's not a horse either. And then the third time around, he did a horse. I don't know if my remote viewing skipped, or that feeling, the intuition skipped like all 3 segments until the last one, but he drew a horse and I was like blown away. But ever since then, I don't know if I got too cocky or what, but now I can't guess anything. So
Well, it's
I'm
important to stay connected to spirit,
yeah.
and
Well, see, that's the
connection
thing,
to
right?
spirit comes from meditation.
Meditation, and I think but daily life can kind of get in the way. Stress, work, family, everyday occurrences. Like how do
That's
you
why
deal
it's
with that?
important to take some time out
Mm,
for your first priority, which should be to meditate. Just take some time to get quiet and still and begin a dialogue with spirit. Once you're in that quiet and still state during deep meditation, that's the time to do what most people do not do, and that is to ask a question, ask for guidance, ask for inspiration, ask for healing, ask for something specific, and then take a big deep breath and then do what I call the do nothing program. That means do nothing, nothing, and less than nothing. And in that do nothing state, you will receive the answer, or you'll receive whatever it was that you were asking for. So it's a good idea to practice that dialogue, to keep that dialogue active with spirit, where you're asking questions and you're receiving the answers, and you're asking and you're receiving, and you're actually having this conversation.
mm,
So that's what I recommend, is to practice, practice, practice. Intuition is a skill. It's a learnable, teachable skill. And anyone can do it. Anyone can develop it, just like playing the piano. You can learn how to play the piano. At first, when you're playing the piano, you make a lot of mistakes. Doesn't work very well. Nobody wants to hear you doing it. Same with intuition. You'll make mistakes at first. Don't give up just because you make mistakes. Just keep practicing, practice, practice, practice. If you practice on a daily basis, you'll get really good at it. It's a skill.
mhm. So what can you do? Like when you're in, I'm assuming you're a pro now, right? Like I feel like your skill level is pro
I don't
level,
know. I
all
mean,
pro probably.
I don't know that I'm that good. I have a good connection with spirit to be able to receive guidance about my life.
Yeah.
So,
What about for
yeah.
other people? Can you do that for other people
If
too?
other people ask, yeah, I can do it for them too.
All right.
But
I'm
it's
gonna
not
a-
like I'm
gonna
not a
ask.
psychic.
Well, no,
Not a
but
psychic.
I think that people can tap in at a soul level, right? Like
Yes.
so I'm gonna ask the all pro meditator, soul talking doctor here, Dr. Susan, like tap into my soul level and what is it that that you hear from me in my learning, in my growth.
You're asking me to do a reading for you. I don't do that.
Oh man, I had
Do
that.
you have a question you'd like answered?
I guess, is there how do you know, like how do you know where you're at spirituality wise? Like how do you know like how far to keep going? Do you I guess that's my biggest frustration. It's like maybe I just have too much expectation, or maybe I put too many mile markers on the path, and it's like,
What are you trying to do? What are you trying to achieve spiritually? What's your goal?
I want to be able to tap into the universe and and know, like that higher wisdom, like know, with things that like why we're here, like exactly why I'm here, what I need to be working on, like what is it that I need to be working on, what's next for us, once we get to because everyone thinks they're spiritually, I don't know, maybe we don't, maybe you may not, but it's like I feel like we're not as spiritually evolved as we think we are. I want to know, like, what is it after, like what does, I feel like this is kindergarten for us, like spiritual beings, the earth level is this kindergarten class that we're all trying to learning, evolve as spiritual beings or consciousness. It's like, what does grade 1 look like? What does high school look like? Like, where do people go? You know what I mean? Like, what is on the other side of that? Like the veil, I don't remember any of it, like people say that we forget for a reason. I want to know, like, is it true? Like, do we forget? What is it we forget? Like, like those are the questions.
Okay. Well, what does your heart tell you about the answers to those questions?
My heart tells me that it's adventure, like it's all adventure, and it's all, like it does feel that way. But it's like, me, I'm very curious. I'm a very curious person, and like the adventure part of it is what thrills me, like I get antsy, or not, I don't get antsy. I get like, it's like the night before you're going away on a big vacation or something, like you get excited and you want to get there, you want to be there, like that's what I feel about spirituality, because I know from some of my experiences recently that, through my meditations, what I have experienced, like that's something I've never experienced in my life. That is, through, seeing 3D, like holographic images with my eyes closed, like seeing it, like what, like, it's crazy. Like I've never had that happen. Like what else is out there? It's like this excitement is like Christmas, for kids.
So are you having these experiences of seeing visions?
Well, I've had them, but they're not consistent, right? So like
Have you asked for them?
I have, I think maybe I think I have, out of frustration and like
Okay.
frustration.
So everything that I teach is based upon one principle, and that is ask and it shall be given unto you. So when you're in your practice, which I said practice daily, when you're in the deep meditative state and you want some experience, or you want to receive inspiration or intuition, or you want to receive an answer to a question, or you want to receive a spiritual lifting, or you want to receive a vision of whatever you want to receive a vision of, that's the time to ask. So in other words, people, when they go into a meditative state, usually they're very passive. They don't do anything, and they don't ask for anything. They just go into deep relaxation, and then maybe they're using a mantra, maybe they're not. And then they go into a deep state, and then they come out of it. After they feel relaxed and quiet, then they come out. They don't ever start a dialogue with spirit. They don't ever ask for anything. They don't ever make their wishes known or their goals known, and therefore they don't receive anything.
Maybe I need to start asking more. That's what I need to do.
Start asking and say it audibly, not just in your head. Don't spend your entire meditation in your head. If you actually speak audibly to spirit, that's the reason why with the guided meditations, they're verbal. You're saying, you're speaking, you're using affirmations, you're using ways in which you are bringing this experience into the actual physical world. When you speak, when you say, for example, an affirmation, don't just read it to yourself from the book. Speak it, and speak it with conviction, and speak it with confidence, and say it like you mean it, and say it as if your higher self is speaking those words through you. That makes it even more powerful and more effective.
Yeah, I don't do anything audible. Yeah, that's some great pointers. I appreciate that. I guess it's also like there's some fear in me too. Like, what if it's not like I'll
Yes, you
have,
expressed the fear before, as
yeah.
if you said that you would go into a state where you thought you would be on the verge of letting go, but you wouldn't let go. What are you
Well-
afraid is going to happen? I
Well,
mean,
that I don't know. Fall into a pit. I don't know. Fall into a darkness. It never come out. I don't know. And I wake up and I'm in a loony bin or something. I don't know. Like it's just that that fear that
that would only happen if you were, on drugs or some
Sure.
horrible thing. If you're in meditation, it's completely safe.
but there's also like if I meditate and I'm like I'll ask for signs or I'll say, hey, look, if I'm having like a really powerful conversation with what I assume to be like a higher self or higher consciousness, I'm having a conversation. It's powerful insight. They're giving me life advice on certain areas of my life, and it's like so powerful. And I'm like, all right, is this me making this up in my head, or is this something that is actually
Right.
receiving? And
I
it's like,
understand.
and it's like,
I
all right,
understand that dilemma. Yes, that happens a lot. People will doubt what they're receiving. They'll think it's not real. They think, oh, I just made it up. That's not really my higher self speaking to me. That's not really God. I'm just delusional, right?
Mhm.
So that's why I say faith comes from experience. When you have something happen like happened to me yesterday with with going to the Tractor Supply, you get more faith because you see that it's true. These
Mhm.
things come true. I got a lot of faith when the miracle happened of this book getting published by Simon and Schuster by the unknown, spiritual author who's an artist who knows nothing about writing. and I just kept doing what Spirit told me to do, and then it happened. So you get faith when miracles are happening around you all the time.
Sure. Yeah, because I'll ask for signs. I'll say, all right, what can you show me today? Or if I'm in a conversation that we had this conversation, like just give me some, something that I can see and empirical evidence, I guess, because that will prove to me or build that
but what
faith.
you're doing there is you're trying to test. You're setting up yourself for failure by doing that.
Mm,
Because you're being the doubting Thomas. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
You're acting the role of the doubting Thomas. And that's not the way to experience Spirit in an innocent fashion.
mhm.
Better just to be innocent and ask Spirit for whatever it is you want. Like, for example, I asked Spirit yesterday, well, what's wise for me? Where is it wise for me to do my Zoom thing? I need good internet access. Where shall I go?
Tractor Supply.
Tractor Supply Company.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, that's right. You're absolutely right. Doubting Thomas, but it's like, it just, it's like, you don't want to be like, you want to be like, I don't want to believe anymore. I want to know, right? Like it's always, oh, you have
That's
to have,
right. You
for,
do want to know.
a lot of the indoctrination that I've experienced in my life, dogma, religious dogma has been, you have to have faith. You have to have faith that you're going to heaven,
Yeah.
or you have to have faith that Jesus is coming back. You have to have faith that this is this and that, or you're going to hell. So it's like, I don't want to believe anymore. I want to know. And I guess the scientist in me wants to know by controlling the experiment, right? Like controlling that noise.
Well,
and-
that's very intelligent.
Yeah.
Vivekananda said it's better to be an atheist. You want to have the direct experience. Otherwise, it's better to just be an atheist because it's less hypocritical to be an atheist if you don't have the actual experience of it. So Vivekananda always used to say that, and George Harrison used to actually quote that from him. So the thing is that it's intelligent to be a scientist. It's intelligent to want to have something that's practical, that's concrete, that that really works, and where that it's true. So my suggestion is to keep on doing your experiments. And that's why I say practice, practice, practice.
I love it. I love it. So you've written 20 books. Is it 20 books? You said 20 books or
Yeah,
like
20 books in
20
English.
wow. And this
36 foreign editions, 42 book awards.
for a girl who never expected to be a writer.
I know. And my guru, Maharishi, he always tried to get me to write. And I just didn't have the confidence and I didn't do it.
What about it? Like, I mean, why were you so afraid, or not the confidence? Like, why'd you lack the confidence in it?
I just didn't think that I could do it. I don't know. I thought I'm an artist. I was always an artist. I didn't think I was a writer.
And what made you, I mean, spirit told you to write, or did you just say, hey, look, I'll try it?
Well, I was teaching divine revelation, this method that we've been talking about tonight, actually, the method of developing your intuition. And I was teaching it and traveling around the country and doing that, following my guidance and teaching. And then I realized no one's going to listen to me if I don't have a book. I need to have a book. So that's why I wrote this one, my first one. And then once I had one book, I didn't stop at one. That turned out to be 20.
I think, have you ever done like an Audible book? Are your books on Audible?
Yeah, they're almost I'd say maybe half of my books are audio books as well.
What about your meditations? Do you have anything that people can buy and download?
Yes, I do. Even on my website, drsusan.org, I have a few guided meditations. Some of them are in CD, some of them are downloadable.
Mm-hmm.
And also I have these books that are, you can get on Audible, on Amazon or a Tantor, different Brilliance Audio. Several different companies have published my books in audio.
Out of the 20 books, which one was your favorite to write?
Favorite to write?
I guess it's like picking your favorite kid. I guess you can't do that.
Favorite to write? Probably my memoir, Maharishi and Me Seeking Enlightenment with the Beatles Guru.
What was he like in person? Like, I mean, could you have could you be very yourself around him? Like very
I could have
vulnerable?
been if I wasn't so young and so inhibited. I could have been.
Mm.
People that were older, they were able to have good conversations with them and stuff, but I was just really super young and just naive and
Sure. I mean,
intimidated. I was intimidated because I was so young.
Could he see you for who you are? Like, you can see your being?
I'm sure yes, he
Yeah.
absolutely could. Yeah, he was quite extraordinary.
Wow. That's just so.
And he taught me a
Fascinating.
lot of things, great things, not just about meditation, but also practical things.
Really? Like what? You gotta teach
Yeah,
me.
I
here.
mean, he
Come
had
on.
me work in different departments, like housing, and I was running this huge hotel in Interlaken, Switzerland, this giant hotel, a really famous hotel called the Victoria Jungfrau. And I was the manager of the whole place. I had to take care of everybody in their rooms and everything.
How long did you
That was
do that
one
for?
thing. That was one thing I did. I worked in finance. I drew pictures. I worked in design. I did artwork also.
Mm.
A lot of the time was spent working in finance, accounting. I did
For
a lot of
him?
stuff. Yeah.
For him? Wow. How busy was he? Like, I feel like he,
Oh,
if
he
you're-
only slept 2 or 3 hours a night.
really.
And his personal attendants could never keep up with him. He had to have like 3 attendants at any given time because they couldn't work round the clock.
Wow. What was he do? I mean, he only slept, I guess, like he was just moving around. Like, I mean, how often was he in meditation?
Oh, he didn't meditate very
No.
much, I don't think. Well, he would meditate with us in groups. I think that might be the only time he meditated. He would go into silence, though. Every year for 7 days at the beginning of the year, he would go into silence. So at that time, I think he would meditate. In fact,
Well-
I know he would meditate because after it, he would come out and tell us what had happened during the meditation. And so on.
What was it about him that attracted you to him?
He had this incredible love vibration. When you were around him, you just felt like you were the only person in the world. And he was so loving. He just exuded this spiritual vibration, not just the love, but also you'd feel waves of bliss when you were in his presence. So we would, those of us on staff, we used to compete to get into his room. We would step all over each other and act completely underhanded and do everything we could possibly do to get close to him. It was really intense. It was insane.
Yeah, I was reading like Ram Dass's book and reading about his guru and like some of the cities, I guess you called it, that other gurus have and they can develop. And it's just fascinating what people can actually achieve or like become through like improvement of oneself through spiritual, growth and self-development. Like to have that, be able to manifest things out of the blue, out of this physical reality. I mean, it's just fascinating. Where can people find you? Where can they find more about you, and where can they buy your books?
Well, you can buy my books anywhere the books are sold. I recommend people support their local bookstores simply because a lot of them have gone out of business because of what we've gone through the last couple of years. So I recommend that you buy books at bookstores if you can. In fact, they can even order them for you, and they can even ship them to you. So support your local bookstore, but obviously you can get my books anywhere the books are sold, on barnesandnoble.com, amazon.com, target.com, all places that sell books. And then I also have my travel website, which is divinetravels.com, divinetravels.com. That's DIVINETRAVELS. That's plural on the travels.com. And then also my website is drsusan.org. drsusan.org.
What about Tractor Supply? Can they buy anything from you there?
They might see me there with my RV.
Hanging out, maybe borrow
Hanging
some
out
of your
there.
Wi-Fi. Dr. Susan, I can't thank you enough for joining the show. This has been fabulous.
Well, thank you. I've enjoyed speaking with you, Trey. We didn't speak very much about prosperity meditations, but we spoke a lot about developing intuition, which seems to be the theme for you at this time.
Sure. I can't thank you enough.
Thank you.